Okay. Oh yeah. Nice to meet you. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. You guys are both coming. Yeah. Okay. Everybody, welcome. You're here for something pretty special. So this is the first ever Hall of Fame ceremony for the en.cee Esports program. So, yeah, exactly. So, my name is Rodemeyer. I'm here at Marshalltown Community College. I've been here since the program started in 2022. And I'm excited to be in a room full of wonderful people and celebrate wonderful people that helped make this program what it is today. So a couple of things to let you guys know as we get started. We have the wonderful team of students from the digital media program, the Iowa Valley Student Productions team. They are live streaming this to the Esports YouTube channel. So if you have anybody who is not here that wants to watch, that stream should be getting up and going so anybody can watch it, or you can share out the recording later, so that'll be awesome. The other thing that I would like to invite everybody to do is if you take any photos or video from tonight, to go ahead and send them to my Iowa Valley email address. It's nathan.rodemeyer@iavalley.edu, and then I will forward those to the student productions team, and that way they can turn those into some cool content that'll come out over the next couple of weeks. And then the last thing that I want to invite you guys to do is that student productions team would also like to interview people that are here, including the inductees, but anybody who would like to go over, give a quick interview with them. That way we can use that for reels and other content. So if you want to talk about that, you can. Obviously, you certainly don't have to interview if you don't want to, but we encourage you guys as friends, family members, teammates, parents, etc., to kind of share out and celebrate your students or whoever you're here for tonight. So, you know, this program has been, I think, the pride of a lifetime for Andrew and I and all the other coaches that are part of it, and I'm sure Andrew will come out and say that as well here when he goes and introduces. But there's a couple things that I wanted to say first. First and foremost, just wanted to talk about how these students were chosen for this honor, right? And so there's 3 criteria that a student has to meet, one of the 3, in order to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, okay? They either must be a championship contender or winner, in a 1v1 title, so Mario Kart 1v1, Smash, etc. They must be the captain of a championship-winning team, or they must do something truly exceptional, like winning a championship more than once, okay? And several of the inductees as part of this class of 11 people have done multiple of those achievements, so that's pretty remarkable. One of the things that we pride ourselves on, we tell the students, the first thing we tell them is to be loud and proud, right? It's the #1 thing on the poster up in the esports room and in the console lounge. Be loud and proud means that, you guys are doing something that's truly incredible, something wonderful, and when we started, something that was new, something that in a lot of communities is still kind of misunderstood or sometimes frowned upon. And so we wanted them to be loud and proud of what they've done, and I have seen that pride develop over the last 3 years. And going into year 4, man, our pride is all over this campus, right? We have 90 people this year, which is crazy. And when there are student events on campus, we had a barbecue the first week, and I counted 34 students, and then lost count of how many of our people were out there doing that, right? They're eating food, they're playing bags, they were painting on the mural, all that kind of stuff. When we need anything going on, there was a cross-country meet on Thursday, a giant cross-country meet we do every year, right? And we were asked to supply students to help run that. We were able to get 27 students just to help out with that because, of the leadership and the pride that we have in this campus and this community. The other thing that we tell our students is to play your game. And we have some merchandise that we sold in the past that has that. You might see it on other publications and things we have, that phrase, play your game. And that's one of the things that makes it so these people can be inducted into this as well, right? That means a lot of different things, and I won't go into the whole breakdown of that tonight, but every single one of these people has dedicated their time to their game, but also they've dedicated time to what it means to be a student, what it means to be a part of this community, whether they're local, whether they're here with us for the short time while they're in college. Every single one of them has been a transplant to Marshalltown for at least a little bit of time, and they've played their game, and they've been part of this community, and we would not be here without them. So, I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to Dr. Andrew Goforth, our director, and he will take things from there.
Good evening, everybody. Good to see you here. My name is Dr. Andrew Goforth, and I'm the Director of Esports at Iowa Valley Community College District. You know, in 2022, when we got this thing started, there were 18 people on our team. Two of whom I recruited to be here, and the one of them that I recruited to be here lasted 2 weeks. Crazy, right? In that time, we've grown to 90. We've won 11 national titles. We have competed in the national championship 33 times. And I just wanted to say that, look, even though I spend long nights, even though Nate spends long nights, I'm not going to stand up here and tell you that this was me, right? I mean, I had my hand in it. I organized the schedules and yelled at him a couple times, but we would not be here right now, our program would not be where it's at if it wasn't for the people in this room right now, okay? So, you know what, Overwatch players, I'm the one introducing you later, so I'll talk about you later. But first and foremost, we would not be here if it was not for Amber. The first year that we had a program, Nate and I were really worried about our recruitment. We were worried that we were going to break even. We were worried we were going to have 18 people again. And then Amber wins the national championship in Mario Kart, and 30 people sign in 2 weeks. Now look, it wasn't just Amber. If you were a member of the inaugural en.cee Esports team, please stand. Yeah, that's you. There's a couple other people that I want to talk about. They will be discussed. They just are not under my direct purview. That's okay. We also wouldn't be here without the pride and leadership of one Jesus Silva. When Jesus joined our program, something that you may or may not know about me is that I was a competitive in-game leader for a very long time in esports. And Nate came to me after Siege tryouts and said, Jesus is going to be our in-game leader for Siege. And I'll be honest, I looked at Nate and I said, no. I was like, no. I was like, I don't think they can do it. And by the way, I was fucking wrong, right? I was so wrong, and I've never been so happy to be wrong in my life, because not only now is Jesus a phenomenal IGL, he runs his own semi-professional organization, he coaches for our staff, and as a teacher, as a coach, when one of your former students comes to you and gives you advice on how to run your program, and you listen to them, that's an incredibly powerful thing. And lastly, gotta talk about Mr. Shontario Dudley. See, Nate and I were putting together this tournament in Fairfield or Tumwa, somewhere down there, and I had to be late because I have been talking to a gentleman out of Des Moines that was thinking about playing Smash for us, and I had to get out of my house at 6 in the morning and go pick this guy up to take him down there. And in that car ride on the way down, I learned something very critical in that hour or so drive. This man has forgotten more about Super Smash Brothers than I am ever going to learn in my entire life. Not only that, when I was late to the tournament, the people were like, getting a player. And then the people in that tournament watched Shontario play and they're like, oh, yeah, I see why you're be late to pick up a player. In terms of individual dedication, personality, and love of the game in their own way, I don't know if I will ever have a player like Shontario again. I mean, he is special, and it's just crazy to watch him play. I know a lot of you in the audience don't know video games, but you know, I'm one of those sweaty guys. I take it seriously all the time. Shontario is such a good person that he cares more about his opponents having fun, in general, than anything else. Not only that, he plays objectively one of the worst characters in the video game, and makes it look like that, I don't know, he makes Dr. Mario look like he's the best character in the video game. You wouldn't know. But last, and certainly not least, I'm going to introduce our keynote. He started off as a guy that was kind of a voice from the mountain. He was this random dude from Canada that would hop into our Discord, and he would just tell our players what to do in Overwatch and then leave. You know, and I was kind of like, I was thankful for this. My friend Rick, who was working with us at the time, brought him in, and I was like, who is this guy, right? Like, why does this guy come in and randomly just tell our players what to do? Little did I know that I was working with the best title coach for esports that I have ever seen. What makes Sam special is this. Sam is like the technical writing teacher of esports. I'm surprised that he does not start his first practice by making them reinstall Overwatch and make sure he knows how it's installed on their computer. Sam is special in the fact that it does not matter if a player is bronze, or on controller, or top 500. He will elevate their gameplay, and quickly, because his meticulous attention to detail of the fundamentals of his game, making sure that not only do players understand the concepts they're being given, but what they are. I mean, he will literally sit down after 30 minutes and show you diagrams of a die, how it works. And if you don't get it, we'll do it for another 30 minutes. He won 2 championship games on paper, objectively, statistically, we should not have won. And he won 2 that we should have won. And so, we are so happy to have you here today with us. And thank you to en.cee for setting this up. All the way from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, Mr. Sam Gallagher.
I guess what you told me is, I don't know if these words work. Good. All right. Thank you. I got kind of loud with those. First speaking a little while. I think first chat I've actually written since before AI was a thing, and I promise this not on, and I really don't know how to use it. I want to know, I guess, a couple quick things. I'm no an expert in a couple of games that I mentioned before, but I heard the comments of these just through Discord and through some of the recordings. I was just like, blown away. My background is in gaming dating, and holy crap. just blown away. Also wanted to do a quick shout out. I thought I was doing Mario Kart, and then I watched the these gameplays. I didn't. It's a new spec. I can't skip it. Lastly, I just a few minutes ago played Shontario in Smash Bros. And I didn't take it. I thought it was a good game. Apparently now watched. Maybe it's just a brief. I've been playing Overwatch and competing in video games since 2016. And when I started coaching Overwatch about a year after I started playing it, I really love the game with probably a little too high a passion, maybe no damage numbers to decimal points that you probably shouldn't. But that's kind of, when we love something and you fall into it, and you kind of pursue it for close to a decade, you love it. And I watched this whole Esports community here, which is built by initially the Rodemeyer, but also Nate and Andrew, and this has turned into an absolute powerhouse of a team and a program. You guys started kind of, it's scraping by, and now you're multi, I guess ER here too. Part of PRA, kind of champion, Novotny, powerhouse, Mario Kart, Smash, and still a valid team is pretty good this year. And I wanted to say, it's part of what I've done on the backs of us coaches. We work really hard to get all of these players to the highest heat that they can possibly get. But we don't do that, at least myself and what I see here. We don't do that by focusing on winning. We don't set winning as the objective first. We set getting these players as good as they get and making them work as a team or get them to understand kind of depth of the game and just help them along their path. That's the focus here. It's not on winning. And when you do that, when you kind of move that pressure, really, you actually focus on getting these guys as good as they can, and all of a sudden they get really good, and they kind of just start running, they like dealing with it, like chase, and they just go, and they become absolute monsters at what they do. Having had the pleasure to work with this Overwatch team, these guys are, like I say, I did a fair bit of work to get them where they're at. These guys really just carry all the way through. I did the same thing. They did all the button press, they did all the Ryne to get where they're at. So I do really want to shout out the hard work they put in. So just mention just a few things with some of these guys, because I spent so much time with you that I do not highlight some of the players here. I don't want to focus on myself. I really do want to say thank you guys for trusting all my black strategies. I did some silly stuff with you, and you actually made it work, and you didn't talk that too much. So I just want to start with mentioning Ryne, Sinn. You started, I'm pretty sure it was wrong, Silva, okay. So we pretty low down there, some might say, but he grinded his way up all the way to Masters, which is bronze, so silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and then Masters. He just spent like hours and hours grinding this game already. And he became a master of fundamentals. He had it all, got the brain, and he became a little bit of a mastermind, but it's not a talent that they had. He worked hard for every second, and he spent doing this, and I want to say, really, this was the original mastermind, the original idea of the Overwatch team. So, man, Hassin, mainly because you were the second player that I saw from your light. I was watching virtually from my desk in Canada, and I noticed some real fishy stuff. All right, I was really concerned this guy was cheating. I thought he went and played like looking like he was on there, like Ryne back started. But now no hard feelings. But then all of a sudden just 3 heads would just fly off. And you're just like, how did you do that? Is he cheating? I told Rick and Andrew in person, go check his YouTube, like literally check his YouTube. This guy actually legit. And no, you're real. This is the guy. I knew I had to have on the team. When a little bit of practice to improve consistency with that, and one doing it all the time, just sometimes. But holy crap, you are a flip farmer. I know we're in Iowa and we farm a lot of other things here, but no, you farm flips here. It's just everything is just a show, and the cast love focusing on your spec because it is just a pleasure. Also, just to share this guy, it's about playing an intensive role, and he's tracking ultimates. This guy is like actually doing behind the scenes stuff, and I don't know how he did both at the same time. So huge shout out. Nathan, I'm not gonna lie, I don't understand how you were able to still function at the level you were doing. Holy crap, you do not play ranked. He doesn't actually play game in a competitive setting. He just shows us the practice, and he had the most quick play and arcade and just every other fun game. This guy had the most fun, even for any player. And just really concerned sometimes. I'm like, this guy, he doesn't practice his game. No, he's the best casual player I've ever seen, to the point where he actually, took the highest pressure roll of tank and rolled through and became the little silent clutch factor that we have, making last-minute changes out of nowhere. We're all like, where does this come from? Where did you come up with this idea? And it ended up being the difference maker in a lot of our games. Huge shout out. Just going to run through another real important person here, the other Ethan McGerr. This guy came in as like we expected great things out of him, right? We started with like these really high expectations. We're like, okay, he better be worth it. He was. He was worth it. I watched 10 minutes of gameplay. Like, I don't need to see more. He can be right now. It was worth it. Extremely consistent, really good listener. This guy hears what you say, takes it, absorbs it. Force changes when I actually have him in the game. When Ryne, our original IGL left, we needed 2 people to fill the role, and he was one of those 2 people. I'll get the other one in a moment. Lijah, I'll speak about you a little bit. You're a controller. In a PC and Emcees, how? Literally, how? Alright, that shouldn't be allowed. But no, specific brain guy, learned new characters I like that, and I really want to apologize to you really quick. Everybody else got the way what they wanted to team, but no, I didn't get them to play one character he wanted to play. So I want to give you the apology there, but he learned everything that I told him to do, and he took it and did it to a level that I thought, I don't know how I did it. I'm sorry. I'm done guessing. You go there. I took control of the play from Powell, as well. You joined in the second year. You had some big shoes to fill. When Ryne left, we had that wall became open and flexible, and we had some really intensity expectations, and we're like, I don't know if there's anybody who's actually capable of like mechanically doing what we needed at this point. And he's playing the role where everyone wants to kill you. You were like the one that everybody hates. Everybody was targeting you, and number one was wanted. And so he had to figure out how to pick up space from JJ varsity and sink or swim. We threw him in, and he swam. He's kind of substituting 2 wings, right? I don't know how you exceeded all expectations and worked your way up to the helped us bring home to national titles. Still phenomenal man. Cheers. And I mentioned to last but not least, shout out Ryne Goulding. This guy here came this close to making varsity in his first year. It was a tough choice. We had a potential cheater and him on that's like kind of 50-50 here, and I ended up making a call. It was a call, but when he was put into that JV team, something just lit up inside of him. This guy sparked like a fire. He just grinded the game harder than any person I have ever seen in my entire life. This guy literally put in the hours to get not only good at his role, but then he also learned tank. He just became like a really good all-rounder, and then became, for our second year, a shared IGL with Ethan McGerr, and we made it work, and it ended up being he ended up being one of the most flexible players we've ever seen in this program. So seriously, I want to give a shout out to every single person here, every single person on this team, every person on the JV Team Blue, and thank you for bearing with my little Overwatch rant, because this is what I did, okay? And I'll just say a couple last quick points that every single person that I've worked with in this program or seen work in this program, they've all been just really passionate about what they do. They love the games they play, maybe to a point where they almost burn out on them, but you do love them. And the fact that this program has fostered the development and just really helped everybody kind of build up that passion and turn it into something that has helped them potentially move on to careers or to future job opportunities, or even to other schools. And get those kind of scholarship opportunities. It's been phenomenal to watch the growth of these individuals and watch them go from being these angsty teenagers and growing into some potentially fine adults. We'll see. It's still yet to be seen in some cases, but seriously, thank you all for listening to us as coaches. We want nothing more than to see you guys improve at everything, and the fact that you actually listen to us as old people, we really appreciate it. So thank you guys very much, and pleasure. Thank you to Andrew for taking really late phone calls with me. I called him on Thanksgiving.
Did you turn this mic up?
Yeah. That's fine.
And with that, the first inductee to the Marshalltown Community College Esports Hall of Fame will be Coach Sam Geller, Overwatch 2. All right, and up next is going to be Nate.
All right, it's my turn again. That's a tough act to follow. Coming off the backs of both of those guys, Sas said it right at the end of the speech there, right? I think there's one thing that drives every single person that's been a part of this team, and certainly the ones that are being inducted tonight, it's that word passion, right? There's a lot of long hours that go into this for us, for the students, for myself, Andrew, Max, Sauce, all of these students, all the people that are helping out over here who are also part of the team. They're incredibly passionate. So much so that, we can talk about our games for hours and you may not understand what we're saying, but you're like, you know what, I have no idea what Nate said, I'm just really excited about it, that's pretty cool. So, that being said, let's go ahead and go to our next player here though. So. I'm not going to wing this one, not wholly. All right, so as you can see on the board, our first student here who's going to be inducted is also our very first national champion ever. So the esports program has had many championships in the 3 years we've competed in so far, entering year 4, but only one person or one team can be the first. Lawthers lit a fire on campus from the day she set foot in our esports arena and asked if she could play her silly little kart racing game. Then, for those of you that don't know, in her fall season, she went on a tear of 28-0. which is a feat that has not been replicated by a Mario Kart player since. We've gotten close, but nobody else has had a perfect season. She did not drop a single race until she got into the postseason. She competed for the first ever national championship and made a name for herself in college by becoming our first champion in en.cee Esports history. The next year, Amber then went on to serve as the captain of our Mario Kart team, when it had more than 2 people. And she led them to a dominant 4v4 season after they introduced the teams format. For context, en.cee had 2 Mario Kart teams at that time. We had a gold and a blue team. And that led to another historic first. Not only did we win 4v4, but we also won second. So that was the grand finals. That was a mirror match. It was en.cee versus en.cee, a feat that the Mario Kart team has actually replicated once since then with Dimitri versus Jake in spring. So that was an incredible feat. That was a great day. We had all the families there saying, hey, let's come check this out. During Amber's time in the program, she, just like all these other people, embodied everything that this culture means, right? Academic excellence, passion, fierce competitiveness. And she's carried all of those traits with her up to Storm Lake, up at BV, where she continues to dominate on the track. I was just I've been listening to a lot of live streams because we are going to be competing in the same Mario Kart League, and so all the staff members are speculating where the teams are going to be at. And there's one gamer tag that they keep mentioning on the streams, which is en.cee, Amber's gamer tag. And they're like, you know what? She goes out and gets like 160 points a game, which is incredibly difficult, right? I think the perfect's 180, isn't it? So she's usually about 20 points shy of the perfect game, meaning she's taking dominant positions when she's playing. So our first inductee as a student is going to be Amber. So Amber, come on up. Okay, I put her on the spot. All right, she's supposed for a picture then. Awesome. All right, let's roll a round of applause as we move to our next person here. So, once upon a time, the en.cee Esports program was a literal hole in the wall. And I remember sitting in the room when it was a literal hole in the wall. Sorry, hold on, let me go forward here. I forgot my career highlights for Amber, right? I said a lot of this already. Amber was our first ever national champion. She won in the ones division. This was when there was only one format, so Amber is considered a Division 1 level winner in our league, which is phenomenal. And then, like I said, the 4v4 win as well. Okay? So, fantastic work there. All right, so like I said, there was a time when this program was a hole in the wall. It was just an empty room for a long time. And then I remember when the computer lab was done, the season hadn't yet started, and I was sitting there working on the Instructor PC. I had the lights kind of dimmed in there, and I was sending emails, doing something. And this guy knocked on the glass, and I was like, "Can I help you?" So I went to the door and I let him in, and he said, "Hi, my name's Jesus. Nice to meet you." Okay. We talked for almost 2 hours on the very first time that Jesus and I met, and I immediately knew that there was something special about this young man. Jesus Silva Enriquez has served as the first captain of one of en.cee's most storied teams, our Rainbow Six Siege team. He led his team to 2 national runners-up in Division 2 and a championship in Division 3, and he, along with his team, was the first ever team in en.cee that decided they were going to push to play in Division 1. And so they took the responsibility on of playing up at that level, and they hung in there, right? They played admirably in that league, and so that was phenomenal to see as well here. I watched Jesus grow from, no take offense to this, but from a timid young adult when we first met. We were very shy, we were very apologetic. And I watched him grow to a confident young man who leads by example. Jesus is patient. Jesus listens, he reflects, he's humble, and he is proud. Jesus understands that in order to bring out the best in your team as competitors, you have to bring out the best in them as people. And that's a trait that Amber shares as well, and a lot of these people. Jesus now attends Buena Vista University and serves as the glue that holds that team together, just as he did when he was a Siege player here at en.cee. He also leads his own organization, the Forgotten Monarchs, and he is now coaching both the Call of Duty and Fortnite rosters here at Marshalltown Community College. On the board again, you can see Jesus was a 2-time national runner-up in Siege in Division 3. He was the first competitor to opt his team to Division 1, and he also led a team to a Division III national championship. So congratulations, Jesus. Come on out. One of our assistant coaches, Max Pietrzak. Before I do, I need to give Max a little bit of a shout out, okay? Max is one of the most generous and hardworking people I have ever met in my life. He coaches the largest team that we have on campus, and also arguably some days the most difficult team to work with on our campus, right? They make us want to rip a little hair out we have sometimes. But when I said that passion is a thing that drives every single person in this program, not only is Max generous, not only is Max hardworking, but he may be the most passionate among us, right? Whether he is leading his team on a Tuesday night or Friday night, whether he's biting his nails for playing in another grand finals, whether it is leading the Crossroads tournaments on Monday nights, or whether it is teaching that team what it truly means to come together as people, right? Max coaches a game that is primarily a 1v1 game, but that is the most tight-knit team this campus has ever had, and we have 7 Overwatch players sitting right in front of me, right? And so I truly mean that, right? He focuses on them as people first, as bonding as teammates, as helping each other to improve, developing those lifelong friendships, and we could not ask for more out of a coach. So before Max comes up, I want to give him a quick shout out. So let's give a round of applause for Max for that.
Alright, can everybody hear me? Alright, sweet. Thank you. Hi, my name is Max, or the one who looks like Boss Baby today. Today I will be inducting Shontario Dudley, and for the purpose of my speech, I'm going to be calling him Miz because, to be fair, I didn't know his name for 3 years. For those of you who were there or heard me talk about Miz, Miz was one of the biggest pains in my ass. But, Miz, thank you. We both came into MCC together, and we both learned together, and we both fought one another. A lot. Maybe too much. You taught me a lot about coaching, and things that I needed to do that I wouldn't have thought of. Also, thank you for slowly believing in both of us. But now I'm going to do what I do best because of you. I'm going to wing the rest of the speech. I'll take that.
Yep.
I do better when I'm walking around. Alright, how about now?
There you go.
Now? Yeah? Yeah. So from what you can tell, I have probably the least hair of everybody that coaches here. That would be thankful to Miz. Miz started coming to a tournament that I used to run, Crossroads at Game Haven. And I messaged the coaches one day after I figured out that I was going to be getting the job, and I said, "Can you guys talk to him?" And they were like, "Why?" I was kind of scared, because he was so good. Miz and I learned a lot about one another, about how to coach, about how to be friends. I want to give a quick shout out to Micah, because Miz calls Micah coach, and Miz calls me friend, which hurts. But Miz, the accomplishments that I have today are I'm a one-time national champion, and that is because Miz decided that 5 other times he wasn't going to win. He dangled those national championships above my head and said, "You can't have it." As you can tell by the career highlights of Miz. Peak number 14, Iowa PR. That's quite impressive, considering that there's over 100 people playing in the Iowa Smash scene. And the only reason he's number 14 is because he didn't want to go out that much. So, Miz, can you come on up here? one person that I would ever induct into the Hall of Fame, it would be this man. Mainly because he's the one that's closest to my happy. I said closest. Can we get a picture? You want to see something? Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
So, I like to say, Ben's actually wrong about something. And I didn't mess around 4 different times. I lost 4 different times. And another thing, it wasn't me, it was we. It was we as a program. It was we as a Smash team that won. I will guarantee you, I wouldn't have won if one of my teammates didn't beat a Luigi player. And handedly beat him. That I could have made it. And there's also our Pikachu player, our K-Rool player. The list goes on and on and on. Oh, and that's not even get our Violet player who literally beat the #1 person and then literally said to them, hey, this is how you do this move, goodbye. It was some of the best things. And I think I am the best mentality at, and you can probably see on the paper, is you can fail multiple times, but you only need to win once. Once you win once, you can get it.
One more thing to talk about, and then I'm going to pass it over to Andrew. Miz and I clash. Oh my gosh, it was horrendous. I would spend hours and hours and hours on the phone with one person. And she talked to you right before you guys played in the grand finals. I just want to give a big shout out to my mom, she has a doctorate in special education. And she helped me through a lot. And working with the Smash team was just a grand old time because of her. So, but right now, I'm going to toss it over to Dr. Andrew Goforth. So, thank you all for listening to my TED Talk.
Well, now you guys get to hear from me a lot. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Honestly, I did not know what to expect when Shontario grabbed the microphone, but you know what? It was inspiring to me because one of the toughest matches in my life that I had watched, the Heartland team that we lost to in Smash the first time had a legitimate professional player on their team. This guy plays top 4 at Combo Breaker, if you know what this is. And that game went down to the last hit of the last game, primarily because of Shontario. Shontario came in and they had 7 lives to his 3. And he started singing. And including this pro player, he ran through their team and kept us in the game. Now we lost. But man, that was crazy. I'm going to pivot a little bit. I'm going to tell you guys a story that I say at every recruitment event that I go to. And that is because, try not to get too emotional, because even though I was probably meaner to this person than anyone else that I have ever coached, and it's not even close, I tell his story to every high schooler that tells me that they don't think they're good enough to play in college. Ryne was bronze when he came into the program. He was silver the next season after that. And Ryne told me over and over again that he wasn't good enough to play on the esports team. And I was like, well, dude, the esports team's brand new. Like, I mean, we're kind of just taking everybody. He comes from a weird background, right? He comes from a background where one of his best friends has peaked top 10 in the top 500, right? He's bronze. But I tell young people that are interested in esports. I had a guy that came in legitimately the lowest rank in the game and left and won 2 national titles. And he did it through hard work. I didn't know the extent of the work that he was putting in. I was told after by people that knew him. Ryne pretty much every waking hour would grind the game, and in between classes or when he was done with a test, he would watch videos on how to get better at the game. Not only that, he decided that he wanted to be my in-game leader. If you're an in-game leader that works with me, I'm going to put you through the paces. Being an in-game leader in esports is the most unforgiving, thankless job there is. Your team hates you if you make a bad call. Your coaches expect you to be able to call a game. We can't talk in the game, so they have to be me, or they have to be Sam when the game is going on. One of the best moments of my career was the second championship we won. We were playing against Nyack, and Nyack, shout out to Coach Livingston, really wanted to beat us because their coach is Nate and I's friend. He kind of learned from us, right? Nyack I knew was going to come out for blood. I knew that they had scouted us. And when we got to map 2, Nyack picks Marisa, which I know you guys don't know what that means, but just know that we did not practice that map. Ever. And I sank back in my chair and I went, oh shit. And I typed to Sam, I was like, we've never practiced this map, they have us scouted. Well, they had us scouted well. And Sam was like, all right, we'll just see. And Ryne stands up, his last game of his career. And he does the T3 thing, the last thing that an IGL learns to do. He calls the play. He stands up, he tells the team to take their headphones off, and he's like, this is exactly what we were going to do. And they did not even touch the point. He called a better play than Sam was going to. He called a better play than I was going to. In that moment, he won the game, and it was in that moment that the coach of Nyack told me that their team was broken. So, Ryne, it's your turn to step onto the stage. Next Overwatch player, Hassin. I never thought Ethan was cheating. I just thought he was running, borderline doping maybe. Like, it sounds worse than it is, but like, Ethan would walk into the room with like 4 energy drinks lined up, and it's like a frat guy. And I'm like, all right, dude, don't have a heart attack like before the game is over, okay? Ethan was a very positive person to have on the team until he wasn't. But, most of the time, Ethan's a funny guy. The problem with funny people is you should never admit to them that they're funny because they're like vampires. Like, once they feed on that information, the jokes keep coming. Ethan played mechanically the hardest role on our team. He played against a bunch of teams that were better than us. And he was always a huge difference maker. Ethan told me once, I like playing against the better teams. I'm a track runner. I need a rabbit to chase. Yeah. Ethan would go up against top 500 hit scan players and make them look like they were not that. He decided to come back, play little Marvel Rivals for us, and kind of casually, and I mean kind of casually, like he wasn't playing the game all that much, peaked at top 1,000, and we made it to national runners-up. The other thing, too, is in our very first season, the Overwatch team was bad. Yeah, they're saying it up here, right? They were bad. But they had a lot of heart. That season, we knocked out the #1 seed in the country, right? Now, we lost in the top 8, but we knocked them out in the first round of playoffs. And a lot of it was because, and shout out to Carter and Jahir and Holly, but Ethan really popped off. But with this information, I'm very happy to induct Ethan Hassin into the MCC Sports Hall of Fame. I'm trying not to repeat too much of the stuff that Sam said. Sam covered a lot of it. If I was the meanest to Ryne, I was probably the second meanest to Paul. and honestly, in some ways I was meaner to Paul. So, I'll be honest. I had like some psychodrama going on when Ryne graduated. I was like, I don't know if we can win without him. Like, you know, he was the glue of the team. He could call the plays, like, and he was mechanically a really, really good flexible player. And I said to Paul when Ryne graduated, I was like, Paul, you have to step into these shoes, right? And I rode Paul for 3 months. I reminded Paul every day that the success of the future team was kind of on him. I made Paul, who was pretty much guaranteed to be the varsity Overwatch starter, try out for 3 games and kept telling him, I'm going to make you play another game, bro. Yeah. But like Sam said, sink or swim, Paul swam. There were some really pivotal moments in games we had. Paul held by himself on Baptiste, which is the person that everybody wants to kill in the game, the first point of Circuit Royale by himself for 1.5 minutes for his team to get back and for us to stay in that game. If Paul had not done that, the other team would have ran us over and probably won the map. I was watching him on high ground, and I just see the Baptiste firing at the other team, and he's getting the picks. And then when he takes out the 4 members of the team, he runs and dives onto their tank, drops his lantern, and then dies. But it was long enough for the rest of the team to get back. And if there's one thing that I appreciate, it's someone that earns it. And Paul, you earned it.
I want to thank Nate and Andrew for running such a wonderful program. You guys care so much, and it's very clear, and it shows.
All right, who's next? Oh yeah, that guy. Ryan's a really interesting guy, in a lot of ways. Ryan has a healthy bit of ego, which, by the way, I don't hate about it. I wish that a lot of our players had more of an ego like Ryan. When Ryan was still at East Marshall, his senior year, he had never played Overwatch. I mean, he played it casually a little bit with his friends, but he would like sneak into our lab, and I kept being like, who is this guy? Like, there's this kid that keeps sneaking into our lab, and he plays games like all day. And so I finally go over and I'm like, dude, like, who are you? You're not on my team. And he's like, I'm Ryan, I'm gonna be on the team next year, and I go to East Marshall. I don't know if I've ever seen the amount of determination in a person on my team like Ryne. One, you see 3 games listed on this image, okay? Ryne played 3 different titles for us. Ryne did not only play 3 different titles for us, he achieved some of the highest ranks you can achieve in these games. While I was putting Ryne and Slide together, I was like, man, look at these ranks, right? Players ask me all the time, how do I go pro? How do I get to the next level? How do I get to D1? I'm like, you should talk to Ryne Goulding, not me, right? What a lot of esports people don't understand is esports is like music, right? You might be practicing 8 hours a day, there's somebody out there practicing 12. It doesn't have the same physical fatigue on us. Ryne managed to do this, graduating with phenomenal grades, becoming a team captain for us, through pretty much sheer force of will. Nobody worked harder than Ryne Goulding. And I told him, and I mean this, Ryne is the type of person that will be successful in whatever they do in their life if they attack it with the same determination that they did esports. Top 500. Grandmaster 1 in Marvel Rivals without really trying. Crimson in Call of Duty without really trying. Because Ryne puts the time. And he plays with a competitive spirit that I wish everyone could have. And with that, Ryne Goulding. Nathan. Yeah, you know, I don't always trust when somebody's dad comes up to me at work and is like, my kid's really good at video games. You know, I'm kind of like, okay, I can beat my dad in video games too, you know. He's not very good. But Nathan comes for a trial and I'm like, oh, okay. He's really good. Nathan plays the game in a weird way. You know, he's kind of like Shontario. Nathan did not really follow the traditional path that most players do to be good at their game. As coaches, that is sometimes frustrating. I always thought it was funny because, you know, I played football, been in traditional sports, and I know that there is few things in a game more valuable than having a playmaker. And for 2 years, Nathan Jorgensen did nothing but make plays. And teabag the opponents. Yeah, you know, Nathan has more play of the game highlights. It's on the next slide. Of any player in the history of our program, and it's not even close. And I would watch back those plays of the game, and I'm like, yeah, you know, Nathan just kind of goes out there. He warms up for Overwatch playing World of Warcraft. Shout out, it's my game. His teammates are like, dude, he's playing World of Warcraft right now. We're trying to get ready for the game. I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. I gotta get my jokes in. I've got everybody's top rank on there. I've got unranked on here. It's not really his top rank, but might as well be. Not only this, Nathan was so good doing it the non-traditional way that other coaches accused us of cheating so many times. And I'd be like, guys, look at his profile. He has like 3,000 hours on Overwatch. It's just not ranked. Like, this is his main account. The reason why people play ranked is because when you're scrimmaging other teams, they want to know what the ranks of your players are so they can determine if it's a fair scrim. And everybody's like, dude, your tank is like unranked all the time. And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. It's like GM. They're like, no, he's not. And then they play against Nathan, and they're like, wow, this guy's like really good. He's the only player that I've ever had that our biggest rival, the Montgomery County Mustangs, their coach reached out and he's like, dude, your tank ran us over. He was like, yeah. He's like, your tank's absolutely insane. And never underestimate the value of a playmaker. Nathan made what, in my mind, and Sam and I talked about it the other night, so like, Sam, what do you think the best moment was? Nathan wanted to play Roadhog the first season so bad, and Roadhog was the worst character in the game. And his teammates were always like, no, can't do that. We get to the last point, the last map, in our first championship game, and Nathan's like, guys, hear me out. I need to switch to Roadhog right now. And Ryne is over there sitting kind of like that. And he's like, and I take off my headphones and I'm like, yes, now, yes. He switches to Roadhog. He hooks the best player of the enemy team into our team. We kill him immediately. We take the point. And he farms his ultimate ability in one fight, which is almost impossible to do. And that was it. That was the game. Nathan was a playmaker. And Nathan, that's why you're here. And then there were two. There's an old song, long-haired freaky people need not apply. You know, Lijah is an interesting person. If you ever hang out with Lijah, if you ever talk to him, you're like, Lijah is just an awesome person. But when I met Lijah, he said a couple things to me that I was like, oh my gosh, no. He came in and he's like, yeah, you know, I'm at Rainbow Six Siege and I helped coach my high school Siege team. And I was like, cool, so you're gonna play Siege for us, right? No, I don't wanna play Siege. So what do you want to play? Oh, I want to play Overwatch. Okay, so what's your experience in Overwatch? Well, let me tell you. I am a Mercy one-trick, and I only play on console. And after he left, I go to Nate, and I'm like, what are we going to do with this guy? Like, this guy's never going to play for us. Well, later that summer, we were playing a pickup tournament, again, in Ottumwa. And Elijah's like, hey, let me come play Overwatch. Well, that day he won the Pac-Man portion of the tournament, which is crazy. And he comes in and plays Overwatch, and I'm watching him play, and I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. He's really, really good at Mercy. But I didn't really think anything about it. You know, we got the tryouts, and we had a lot of support players trying out that year. So the spot that Lijah was trying out for, we had 8 people trying out for that. And I asked Sam, I'm like, okay, who are the varsity support players? And he's like, well, Batman, of course. He's like, and hear me out, the Mercy. And I was like, and I pulled him into a call, I'm like, this guy's on controller, dude. And Sam was like, no. Trust me. I was like, okay. I've learned to trust Sam, and so I just went with it. And I mean, the numbers speak for themselves, right? His time as the winningest athlete in our school's history. He's the first player to prove me wrong in so many different ways. And that rank on top is eternity in Marvel Rivals, which is top 1 to 2,000. He's even better at Marvel Rivals than he is Overwatch. And it's just absolutely crazy how all Lijah does is defy the odds. And so, Lijah.
Hello. So I want to keep it nice and short, but while I've been up here, I've gone through a lot of crazy stuff, death in the family, my lung collapsed, and I'm so glad I was able to play with the greatest teams ever. both year 1 and year 2. You guys just been a blast and helped me out so much. So thank you. Thank you, Sauce. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Andrew. Everyone, just thank you.
Yeah. Send the Irish, they're cheaper than bullets. Sorry, I had to say it. My first year recruiting for the team, there was a guy in Marshalltown that, he was pretty quiet, but I watched him play, and I was like, wow, like, this guy's insanely good at the game. I mean, he's great. His mom really did not want him to play for us, and you know what? That's okay. She was hitting me with some really hard questions. Shout out Andrew McGerr, you made me a better recruiter for esports. Ethan has a special place in my heart. As a coach, I think the most powerful thing of all is if you have a player in a game and you look at them and go, we win this, and it's because of this person. I mean, that says it all. Ethan hit top 500. I told him he didn't have to do his final, sorry bosses, if he hit top 500. And so he hit top 500 just for that. He hit eternity to the point where he was playing with pro players and Marvel rivals. And all he did was win. Not only did he win, all he did was really carry games. I gotta give him crap because, you know, I could sit up here for an hour and talk about Ethan. I really could. You know, his highlights, he was roasted on stream by the famous Tim the Tatman. Tim the Tatman said, and I quote, "This Darkviper may be my ignore for the day." In our first Overwatch Championship win, he popped his ultimate ability and spawned. But the thing about Ethan is exactly what I said. I've never had a player that I watched, and every game I was like, we can win this. It didn't matter if it was a pro team across from us. It didn't matter if it was the worst team in our league. It didn't matter. We can win the game because Ethan's here. And my last shout out, we've got our new rivals coach, and he's watching our rivals footage from the previous season, and he just keeps panning to Ethan's perspective, and he's like, hey, who's this guy? Is this guy coming back? And I just kept laughing. He's like, no, man, this guy's gonna carry for us. This guy's like the best player here. It's not even close. I'm like, no, he graduated. He's done. I've also been tough on Ethan. I realize that Ethan is tougher on Ethan than anyone can be tough on Ethan. But I was tough on Ethan because from day one, the only thing I saw was greatness. And greatness is what he provided. Ethan McGerr. All right. I'm going to hand it over to Nate. And to get through 7 of those, just so you guys know, I'm not really usually an emotional guy, but I get emotional about this. And so going through these people's careers that have fundamentally changed my life, all of these players in their own way have changed my life for the positive. I have nothing but love and respect for each and every one of them. And it's hard for me to stand up here and say that, because when you're not really an emotional guy, emotions hit you hard. And hit me hard they are right now. So we have a couple closing remarks. I'm going to hand it to Nate, and then I'm going to send you guys off. But I wanted to thank you all for coming. We appreciate our community, the friends, the family, everybody that's here tonight, the teammates, the future generations of people. I know there are people in this room that are going to be here in the coming years. And again, just thank all of you. Because like Nate said, in 2022, this was a complete hole in the wall. There was nothing here. We brought in this last class when they graduated. We said that before you guys got here, there was one banner on that wall. And now there's 33.
Short, because a couple of people like, how long is this thing gonna last? I said, I'm hoping the ceremony will go by 7:30. So, we're only 45 minutes late. It's fine. It's fine. I think it's important that we recognize everybody here today, give them that proper time, right? Because here's the thing: this only happens once. These people will only get inducted to this Hall of Fame once. They will go on that wall once, and they will stay on that wall until this building is demolished. Right? They will be there forever. The other thing I wanted to say, I'm going to try not to get emotional about it, just like Anthony and I were talking about, is these people have, like Andrew said, completely changed my life. And Sam would say that, and Max would say that, Cass in the back, I'm sure Cass would say that as well. When I decided that I was going to come out to en.cee, I got a little bit disillusioned with the job that I had. I didn't hate it, but I was looking for something else. And I talked to my wife about it, Laura, and I said, if I could do something full-time with this esports thing, I want to look for options. And like a week later, she said, what about this? And I was living in Williamsburg at the time, and it was a job posting for a faculty member at Marshalltown Community College to be the esports management professor and also a coach. And I looked at that, and I was like, this isn't real, right? Because I'm from Marshalltown, right? So it was like the stars were aligned, and I had just said, I want to go do this thing full time if I can. And it's in my hometown, and we were looking for a reason to get back close to family, and the rest is history. And the hours are long, like I said at the beginning, for all of us. We pour our blood, sweat, and literal tears into this program every single season. But I know Andrew and all of our other people, we wouldn't give this up for the world. And I just wanted to thank all of the players, past, present, and future, from the very bottom of my heart. And thank all of the family and friends and all the people that are in this room. This room was almost full, and that's amazing. We had no idea what to expect. We actually got more tables and chairs up this afternoon, so I think we're gonna get close to cap. So I just wanted to thank you guys as well. Really. What we're going to do next is, like I said, digital media students would like to interview people that would like to. I'm sure they'd be willing to do that down in the console lounge as well. We will kind of have a group that kind of walks down all the way back to the front, to the new space, the console lounge that is just finally opens. There should be cookies and lemonade in there, I hope. But we're just going to have kind of a meet and greet, just kind of hang out and just sharing each other's good company before we all split and go our different directions. We have some people here that are from out of country. We have some people here that are from out of state. We have some people here that are from 2.5 hours away. And we have people that are 5 minutes across town. But it doesn't matter, right? Because the one thing that has brought us all together is this program and what it means to everybody that's in this room. And so that's all I want to say. So thank you. You have one more thing, Andrew, you want to send off with? Okay. All right, that's it. Down the long hallway. Oh, sorry, yeah. So if you are a guest, you are welcome to walk out, or Michelle is willing to take pictures of all the inductees if you want to do a group, or do you want like families and stuff like that, or what? Okay. So if you guys want to have official photos taken by marking, if you're an inductee and you have family and friends, you guys can kind of hang up here and do that. Everybody else, you can start taking the long walk down to the console lounge. Thank you.